Welcome to Faith Jam, nurturing, learning, and hearing.
Welcome back to another episode of Your Faith Journeys. Today, we're on episode number 10, and we have the awesome pleasure to talk to a gentleman I met back in 1999. Can you believe that? That's years ago. So I'm sort of aging myself. When I met him, he probably was like 18 or 20 or something like that, but he was a youngin'. And, we're going to give a conversation today. And here at Your Faith Journeys, we just talk from the heart and we just talk from our experiences. So, with that being said, I'd like to welcome our special guest, Mr. Jerry Bush. So, let's jump right in this. When I met you back in 1999, what was your first impression? Yeah, let's talk about some of those doubts, man, because, our people need to know, because, it's not just you who have experienced what you experienced. There's a lot of other people in this world that, they travel different roads and different paths, and they experience uncertainty and doubt. And so you're going to help some other people by sharing your experience. And that's what this is all about, sharing our experience to help one another.
The doubts and uncertainties was what you were selling. You were selling at that time when I was growing up. The only thing I knew was the wrong thing the wrong thing. And what you were selling like change, and you were selling, life. To be perfectly honest with you, and at my state of mind when I was that young and I was on the streets, it was hard to, how can I say, it was hard to even trust you or believe that your intentions was good. Because every time we had people come to the neighborhood or try to come help, they'll say they help, but then they'll always take, never really replace it. So when you came, it was kind of like, oh, here we go again. It's the same thing. He coming in, he just want to talk or whatever. And it was hard. It was hard to get sold life beyond what I was seeing and what I knew life was at that point in my life.
Programs and come and programs go, but relationships last forever. And,
Yes, they do.
I just found that out based on running programs, and the money come, and then the money go, and then the program go. And like you said, people will be looking for the next program when it's all said and done. And what can they get out of that program? But I just flipped that script and I just said, relationships mean more to me than a program. So I've been using that as one of my pillars of my life from this point on, just to keep focus on what the real thing is supposed to be about.
Through the program y'all brought to us, like you say, once the money gone, the program was over. But like you say, relationships last forever. And through that program, y'all sent me to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I used to live on North Village Street. I never forget, up under a balloon station. um, it was like what you sold me. It came to life. It came to life. I was actually doing good, but sometimes the streets had that hold on you. Had that hold on you where it grabs you, and that's what it did. I always say, and I think I told you the other day, the only thing good that came about me getting off that airplane was my three children.
How has your three children affected your uncertainty and your doubts in that respect? And when I say that, I mean, there was some, bridging that relationship. It had to be some uncertainties and some doubts that you were experiencing, but you were, from our conversation, you were, on a mission, and you were committed to do what you needed to do. But let's talk about that for a minute.
I wound up going to prison. I got sentenced to 15 years, but I wound up doing 12 and a half years. In that time frame, a lot. How can I say this? Well, prison was the best thing for me. to be perfectly honest with you, because it allowed me to see things in a different light. It slowed me down. My mother used to say this prayer all the time: Lord, before my children get killed in the streets, lock them away, preserve them. And I used to always tell her, don't pray that over me. Don't pray that over me. And it came to light. God seen it though, whereas though he had to take me off the streets because he seen something maybe worse. And I started to change. I was forced to look myself in the mirror. I was forced to understand some of the things that I created, and some of the things that I done that was my fault, that took a major part in my life. And I was always asking God and asking the questions, why, and never fully understanding why, until I had to look in that mirror and understand that it was my fault. It was me doing the things that was taking things out of my life and putting me back in prison and in and out of prison. And so I woke up. I can remember certain times, certain instances, World 2, that actually made me see the light. And sometimes you gotta reach the lowest point of your life to understand what's going on, what's important. And me leaving my children for the first time in my life, like I was going in and out of prison, doing a little time there, and it was always just me. And I can deal with that. Like, in my crazy thought of mine, I sit there and be like, okay, I ain't hurting nobody but myself. This ain't affecting nobody but me. Until I had 3 children and I had to leave them. And I came from a place where I ain't have a father. So when I had children, I took pride in it. Even though I was doing the wrong thing and I was still out there, I really took pride in being a father. So for the first time in my life, it felt as though that I left something. I came home, they was 13, 12. They was 12, 11, and 10. And I came home, they was that age.
Teenagers and almost teenagers.
When I met them for the first time, before I met them, I was thinking to myself, because I had doubts, like, is they gonna love me? Is they gonna forgive me? It was a real uncertain situation, uncertain to the point where, as though I was scared. For the first time, I was actually scared, and so I prayed. I asked God, how can I fix this, or can it be fixed? And so, I thought about it, and she brought my child's mother, brought them up there, and so she set them all down. And I was nervous, man. And so I just looked. First of all, I wanted them to see me apologize to their mother. I wanted them to truly understand that, I was sorry. And the only way I can do that is to start at the beginning. And so I looked their mother in the eyes in front of them, and I just told her, I apologize. I was wrong, and I lived up to everything I did. I stood on it. And then I looked at my children and I told them, I messed up. I messed up, and I took it. And I laid it all out on the table. But the thing I broke away from it, I told them, from moving forward, I can't take back the past. The past can't be taken back, but we can move on. And I made a deal with them. I told them, moving forward, if I come home, I'm home, and I don't show you that I'm your father. I don't love you as a father. I don't take interest in your life as a father. We don't have them talks as fathers, and I'm really not a father. Then I expect you to treat me as so. I expect you to treat me as if, you don't know me, and whatever feelings that you may have. And if I make do, if I show you I'm a father, not just financially, but actually being a father, because I'm still learning how to be a father. I'm still learning how to be a father, because that's a strong word, a father.
Yeah.
And it's a learning process. But I can say,
Yeah.
you know, we
Still
doing
learning.
good. We in a
Yeah.
very good space.
Yeah, I'm still learning how to be a father, and every day, my my kids and my grandkids, they teach me a new lesson. So I love learning at this point because they don't hold back. They tell me the unadulterated truth about whatever they need to say.
Man, I just
But
got off
it's
the
all
phone with my son just now.
that's a beautiful thing, man. Thank you for sharing that because that's important for people who have taken the wrong turn in life, but also it's important as it relates to when you're trying to get back on track. And there's a time when you got to make amends. There's a time when you need to put all the cards on the table and just say, okay, if you want to beat me up, you can beat me up. But if I'm not that person that you want to beat up, treat me as accordingly. I'm your dad and I'm here for you to love you, to care for you, and be in your life on a consistent basis.
We'd like to express our gratitude to our sponsors and donors for supporting the Faith Journey podcast. Thank you for tuning in. May you be blessed and continue to smile. Until we meet again.